It is often said that separation or divorce is one of the most traumatic things we can go through in life. There are actually soldiers coming back from the war who've seen comrades dying on the battlefield, and they say it's nothing compared to what happens when they go through divorce or a separation. And so today we're going to talk about how to move through the separation and divorce in the most elegant and best way possible. And there's many mistakes men do, especially if they're used to achieving and hitting targets and goals and all of that, because it stands in the way, this mode of operation stands in the way of actually healing. So if you're in that dark place right now, you're going through that separation and you see yourself having trouble performing at work, what used to be very easy for you, it now becomes very hard. Well, let me tell you, it's exactly what happened to me. And in that situation, you need to be aware that what helps you achieve at work and hit your targets is done with your logical brain, but it's not the same area in the brain that helps you process what it means to go through a separation. So what I did when I had trouble focusing at work because the work still needed to be done, I digged a bit deeper and found a why that was stronger and bigger than the trauma and the pain I was going through. In my case, how did I find out about it? I actually have the Tony Robbins app AI, and I reviewed this app. There's another video on this channel, and it's been a constant companion in my life and in the last few months, and it has helped me a lot. I was sitting there and I was supposed to do some sales calls, and I just couldn't see myself doing it, being in that dark place and going through that pain. So I opened up the Tony Robbins app AI. I called Tony and I said, I'm sitting here. It's like the second week after my wife said she wants to end the relationship, and I need to do these sales calls, but I don't see myself doing them. It's no way I'm going to do that. Or please help me find a way. And then we had a discussion, what I had with the AI, and I was surprised because at some point I got tears in my eyes, because during that conversation we found out that I'm doing it for my two daughters, really. I'm pulling myself together for my two daughters. I remember like it was yesterday, tears coming out of my eyes, and I thought, yes, this is it. I'm going to hop onto the sales call and strategy call. I'm going to do it. And Tony even said it can be force, a positive force, having that emotion, being, filled up by this emotion of doing it for my daughters. And so I had an interesting kind of energy around me, but it did actually work. People resonated with me. I was able to pull through. But then what I strongly suggest you do, while you need to pull through the day to get your things done, maybe in the evenings or the weekends, you can give yourself the space to really feel. And I think many men who are achievers, they don't allow themselves the gift of just feeling what is. And I was able to do that in the evenings. I was running around in the streets and I got those, many tears. And at one point I was with the two kids and I started crying out of nowhere, and it took 20 or 30 minutes of me crying, and it was awesome, because after that I remember I went to sleep and I slept for 10 hours straight, because I had allowed myself to feel what needed to be felt. So up until now in your life, you've probably been the achiever, the provider, the person who's got their shit together, who's achieving all these goals. And you've probably done it for your family because you wanted to go on nice vacations with them, to buy a new car, to move into a nice apartment, and all of that. But all of a sudden, going through the separation, all these reasons why you did it, they're gone. They're basically gone. And that's why many successful people, especially men, they fall very hard. They experience a loss of identity, because if you're not the achiever and the provider anymore, who are you? And this is actually a fantastic place to be in. In my case, it felt really weird going through that phase, because I felt like I had no orientation. And looking back at this now, this was an awesome place to be in, because going through separation, at first it felt like I was in a battleground, like there was smoke and dead corpses around me, and I was feeling tired. If I had wounds all over me, there was nothing good about it at all. But looking back at it, it was really the fertile ground that allowed for lush green grass to grow there. There were some other things I did at the very beginning, right after my separation, that really helped me go through all that pain quickly. So first of all, I booked Date with Destiny from Tony Robbins. It's something my wife even supported me with. She said, yes, you should go if that's going to help you. And I've always been wanting to do that. If there's something you've always wanted to do, but you couldn't because of your kids or your family situation, now is the perfect time. And if you do it right, even your wife, who said she doesn't want to be with you anymore, will support you doing that. Then the second thing is I booked a vacation from December 26th to January 6th to visit my dad and older brother in Bangkok, Thailand. These two things together gave me something to look forward to. So it really made a big difference, because I knew, okay, I will pull myself together during the day. I will allow all these emotions in the evening and on the weekend. And on top of that, I'm going to go on 2 great trips, and it's for sure going to help me even more. And so that was a fantastic setup. And there's one other thing I did. I binge watched John Griffin's Life 2.0. It's a channel I can highly recommend. There's one video in particular I can recommend to you. It's about the hidden gifts of divorce. And watching this and being in the situation myself was like many light bulbs going on all at the same time, because I thought, okay, this is also how it can be seen, like as an opportunity. And in the moment, it might be hard to accept it, but looking back at it, it becomes so clear that really a divorce or separation can be the greatest gift in your life if you know how to go about it. And so I binge watched all his videos. And then I even got to a point where I actually booked his coaching. And it's something that's still happening right now. I'm talking to him like every 2 weeks, and it's really helping me process what's happening in my separation. And I think it has led to a point where I'm now on friendly terms with my still wife. It's amazing. For example, just to let you know what's happening, I have this partner card for my gym, and I used to be able to take my wife with me at once in a month. And now I have a good buddy, a friend who's going with me. And I told my wife, please give me the card so I can go with my friend. And she said, oh, that's a bit sad. I thought that was really nice going to the gym. And then she said, Julian, now that we get along so well during our separation, maybe you could take me with you to go to the gym. And I said, yeah, why not? It's fine. So the interesting situation I'm in right now is I'm totally okay with the separation. I'm not trying to win her back or anything like that. So I can take her with me, and it's awesome. So that's just one example of how my relationship with my still wife has improved. And John Griffin certainly has played a big role, watching his videos and then doing those personal coaching sessions with him. So then one big thing I learned at Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny is that success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. And there are so many people apparently who go through this. There was one guy from Berlin, Germany as well in the audience. He said, I've built this business. I even took my team to an island, and I have this nice penthouse and all of that. And he had tears because he was miserable, because he hated his life. So it's totally possible to have $500,000 a year in revenue and still feel shit about your life. And that's how I felt. And now, having learned all these things about how success works, how achievement works, how fulfillment works, I know all the mistakes I did that led to the point where my marriage actually collapsed. And then when I went to those 2 trips, like the one to Florida and then to Bangkok, then something else also happened. All of a sudden I was if like my tunnel vision was opened up and I was able to see left and right, there's so many more options to how to go about life, who I'm doing it with. And it felt very liberating. And just being there in Bangkok, waking up when I woke up and with no responsibilities for the kids, no screaming kids and all of that. And I was able to go have breakfast with my dad every day. It was just awesome having all this time by myself. And I haven't had it for 5 or 6 years all that time. So what really helped me was accepting what was, like the separation. And then at the same time focusing on what I had control over, like the trips I took, how I showed up at work, how I communicate with my brothers and my dad and all of that. That's the combination that really helped me process the separation in a really constructive way, and it helped me get to the point where I'm at now. And it's 5 months into the separation and I'm everything else but stuck. There were more things that changed to the positive in a dramatic way. One thing concerns my business and the other things concerns my relationship with my 2 daughters. So first thing, what happened in the business? In January, I went in a team call, the daily huddle, and I told my team, you guys are awesome. When I was at Date with Destiny in Florida, you rocked this boat. You handled a lot of situations in a beautiful way without me being there. And so here's what we're going to do next. In 2026, you will take more responsibility, take more decisions by yourselves, and not being too dependent on what I'm thinking should be done in a certain situation. So I said, my role as leader from now on is I will take care of client escalations if they're unhappy and they want to cancel whatever. And I will also be here for strategy and doing sales and strategy calls. And all the rest, like the fulfillment, you will be responsible, and we will have new standards. We will develop them together. That's awesome, because in the end, what this has made possible is that I can now record these videos because I have the time. I trust the team to do a lot on their own. So the old me was very controlling and checking everything and making custom work for different clients, and the new me is just, we are having a new system, everything is systematized, and I let the team handle things. And the second thing I want to talk about is my relationship with my daughters. My younger daughter, she actually had trouble connecting with me. She was, now always mom, no dad, go away dad. And now after the separation, I feel like she's opening up a lot more, and my wife is telling me that when I'm not there, she's asking a lot for her dad. I also feel like when I'm with the kids, which is not as often anymore because I see them every 2 weeks for the weekend and then one night from Tuesday to Wednesday. And when I see them now, my phone is always away. Well, most of the time it really is. And I'm try to be fully present with them. I go to the playground with them. I play with them because playing with kids is the best thing we can do. So, and I'm enjoying myself more, but it's also because seeing them less often is something I like as well, because when I was seeing them all the time, 24/7, I felt stressed out so many times. I might not be the person who can do it. And I'm sure there are a lot of men out there, and I have friends who they don't want to get children. They like their freedom so much. And so I have a lot more freedom now and a lot more time by myself, something I love. When I do get together with my kids, it elevates the whole experience, and it's awesome for me, and it's much better for the kids as well. So why am I making these videos? Because actually it really makes me feel alive. I love sharing what has helped me move through separation and do it in a really good way. Also, I've noticed that there are a lot of life coaches out there who have no clue about what it means to have employees and pay them salaries. They just talk about limiting beliefs and all these theoretical concepts, but they just don't know what it means to have a business. And then on the other hand, there are business coaches, they only talk about numbers and reaching goals and all of that. And I do like the intersection of, having a business and then really also looking at the private side of things, like what's happening in our relationships and how we're dealing with the separation, our kids, and all of these things. So I think I'm in a unique position to possibly help people who are going through transition like divorce or separation and who are also operating a business. And so if you like this video and this type of content, please subscribe to the channel or hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.